Sabahul Hail fam, Erica here, your hustle harder mommy, working alongside you to become healthier, wealthier, and wiser on this thoughtful Thursday. I know that I use a lot of humor on my channel, even when I'm talking about serious things, and today is one of those days. I try to keep it lighthearted. But if there's ever a time when I get a little heavier, it's going to be on Thoughtful Thursday. It is exactly what it sounds like. Foods for thought, things that we need to think about if we want to become healthier, wealthier, and wiser. So on this Thoughtful Thursday, I want to ask you a question. This is the thought. If you met you, what would you think of you? And I'll explain what I mean. I know oftentimes when we're in a situation, and of course our own lives are a situation, it is difficult to see ourselves objectively. Thankfully, or not, I do have the ability to do that. No matter how stressful or complex a situation is, I am able to step outside of it and see it the way that others do. So I asked myself, if I met me, what would I think of me? And here is what I want you to do. I want you to imagine that you could step outside of your life and that you could show up at your job or at your home and follow yourself around for a little while and do an assessment. What would your assessment be? Hence the title of the video that says, I don't like you either. Sometimes we complain about the way people treat us, that they reject us, that they don't want to be around us, they don't want to be in relationship with us, when what we really need to do is grab one of these and ask ourselves, do you like you either? Do you like the way that you do things? If I could follow you, if you could follow yourself to your job, what would you think of you without all of the excuses? My baby was sick all night. My husband was being mean to me. I'm having a bad day. All of that aside, because in reality, people care, but they really don't. They don't care if your attitude is nasty. They don't care if you're constantly late. They don't care if your work is sloppy. They actually don't care if your mom just died and your husband just left you. Are you a good employee? Can you do your job? Can we get rid of you, or are we stuck with you? So imagine you could follow yourself for the day. Do you rush in late, throwing everything down on your desk, but yet you still have your fancy coffee in your hand that you had time to stop for? Are you rude? Are you considerate? Do you talk over people? Do you do your work? Do you hand it in on time? What is the quality of your work? What is the quality of your attitude? How do you treat your coworkers? How do you respond to your superiors and your subordinates? Are you a good employee? Excuses aside. And then what if you could ride with yourself? When you're driving, are you disrespectful? Do you cut people off? Are you breaking the speed limit? Things of that nature. And then if you could follow you home into your house, how do you treat your children? How do you treat your spouse? Is your house neat, clean, and happy? Do you cook, or is it pizza again for the fourth time this week? And then you are full of excuses. So looking at yourself from the outside, are you someone that you would want to be in relationship with? Would you want to be friends with you? Would you want to be married to you? Would you want yourself for a parent, a grandparent, a sibling, a child? Would you want you for a coworker? Would you want you for a boss? Would you want you for a subordinate? These are the kinds of things we have to ask ourselves on this Thoughtful Thursday. So, the thought of the day is, would you like you? Would you want you? If you could step out of yourself without all of the excuses, I was abused, this happened to me, this is why my attitude is like this. Nobody cares. And people meeting you don't know all of those things. And it really doesn't matter. You have to ask yourself, do you like you? Do you want you? Would you want to work with you? You have to ask yourself. So I just want you to know this is an exercise to give us points to improve. This is something I did myself and the results were not great. And I had to say, I don't really like the way you do XYZ. And I wrote that list down. I prayed about it. And then those things have to be changed. We want to be the best that we can be. We want to be a blessing to others. We want people to be glad to see us coming, not rolling their eyes and going the other way and trying to find out how to get off your team. team trying to find out how to get away from you. It's no good. But regardless of our shortcomings, this is not to condemn. This is not to belittle. This is to improve. We are becoming healthier, wealthier, and wiser together on Hustle Harder Mommy. So despite your shortcomings, despite whatever improvements you need to make, I want you to know I still very much appreciate you. And you are still loved, wanted, and needed, or you would not be here. I love you, fam. Bye.